Yep, there we go. Hello, I'm Lee, and I'm going to continue reading the Testament of 12 Patriarchs. This is the Dead Sea Scrolls by Giza Vermes. It shows a few of the things included in the Dead Sea Scrolls. You'll notice Testament of Levi, Testament of Jacob, Testament of Judah, Testament of Joseph, Testament of Naptali. So they were in the scriptures in 150 BC and before. Let's see. Go back. This is the Testament of 12 Patriarchs by Rutherford H. Platt, 1926. So let's see. We started at, we left off at Dan last time. So, Testament of Dan, the seventh son of Jacob and Bilhah. Bilhah is one of the maids. Copy the words of Dan, which he spake to his sons in his last days in the 125th year of his life. For he called together his family and said, Hearken to my words, ye sons of Dan, and give heed to the words of your father. I have proved in my heart and in my whole life that truth with just dealing is good and well pleasing to Yahweh, and that lying and anger are evil, because they teach man all wickedness. And I'll just expound on some things here. The Bible itself defines truth as Psalms 119, 142, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. And you'll notice wickedness and lying. If you go to it's good to have the appropriate definitions so that we don't make up our own imagination of what it means. Where's it at? Away from me. I'll find it here in a second. No. I need to memorize these verses. That would make it a lot easier. Matthew 7:23. So go back. Matthew 7:23. And this is blue letter Bible. So you go here. This is what it's translated out of. And you go here. Here's iniquity. Here's the Greek word. Strong's G458. And iniquity, unrighteousness, transgress the law, transgression of the law, condition of without the law, because of ignorant of it, because of violating it. And we've seen what the truth was, so you know what a lie is. Lawlessness, contempt of violation of the law, iniquity, wickedness. Means the same thing. So, that truth with just dealing is good and well pleasing to Yahweh, what he told you in his law. And lying and iniquity and lawlessness and wickedness are all the same thing at different levels. So that's what he's talking about. I confess therefore this day to you, my children, that in my heart I resolved on the death of Joseph, my brother, the true and good man, And I rejoiced that he was sold, because his father loved him more than us. For the spirit of jealousy and vainglory said to me, Thou thyself also art his son. And one of the spirits of Beliar stirred me up, saying, Take this sword, and with it slay Joseph. So shall thy father love thee when he is dead. Now this is the spirit of anger that persuaded me to crush Joseph as a leopard crushes a kid. Now Yahweh of my fathers did not suffer him to fall into my hands, so that I should find him alone and slay him, and cause a second tribe to be destroyed in Israel. And now, my children, behold, I am dying, and I tell you of a truth, that unless you keep yourselves from the spirit of lying, and of anger, and love truth, and long-suffering, you shall perish. For anger is blindness, and does not suffer one to see the face of any man with truth. For though it be a father or a mother, he behaveth toward them as enemies. Though it be a brother, he knoweth him not. Though it be a prophet of Yahweh, he disobeyeth him. Though a righteous man, he regardeth him not. Though a friend, he doth not acknowledge him. Spirit of lying and of anger. Love truth. For the spirit of anger encompasseth him with the net of deceit, and blindeth his eyes. And though lying, darkeneth his mind, and giveth him its own peculiar vision. And wherewith encompasseth his eyes with hatred of heart, so as to be envious of his brother. For anger is an evil thing, my children, for it troubleth even the soul itself. And you also notice, put away, I just bring up verses as it comes to mind, let the Spirit guide it. I don't prepare a lot of things beforehand most of the time. Ephesians 4:31, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. That's what Paul's talking about. Paul's talking about the same thing. Grieve not the Holy Spirit, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Be ye kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as Yahweh for Messiah's sake, Yahushua's sake, hath forgiven you. And Paul's saying pretty much the same thing at Dan's saying, for it troubleth even the soul itself. Grieve not the Holy Spirit. Colossians 3:8. But now ye also put off all these, anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth, in which ye also walked sometime when you lived in them, children of disobedience. So you got to obey the commandments? For which things sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience. Lie not to one another, seeing that you have put off the man with his deeds, and put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision. Messiah taught the 10 Commandments, keep them. And the body of the angry man it maketh its own, and over his soul it getteth the mastery, and it bestoweth upon the body power, that it may work all lawlessness, iniquity. And when the body does all these things, the soul justifieth what is done, since it seeth not aright. And also, seeing they see not could be tied into this. What is Isaiah? Hearing. Let me in here somewhere. I tore up. Let's see, Mark 4:12, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted, and their sins, lawlessness, should be forgiven them. And that comes from Matthew 13:13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Right. Matthew 13:14, and them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. Now the word in the Old Testament is translated from Hebrew. So it translates to Isaiah, the Hebrew that it came from. And the New Testament translated from Greek, so that's why you have Isaiah, same person. Which saith, by hearing you shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive. So what did Isaiah say? Isaiah 6:9. And I'm just trying to share what I've been given. Study and pray for yourself. I don't believe everything I say. Test it yourself. Isaiah 6:9, and he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Their soul justifies what is done, since that sees not aright. Therefore he that is wrathful, if he be a mighty man, hath a threefold power in his anger, one by the help of his servants, and a second by his wealth, whereby he persuadeth and overcometh wrongfully, and thirdly, having his own natural power, he worketh thereby the evil. And though the wrathful man be weak, yet hath he a power twofold of that which is by nature, for wrath ever abideth such in lawlessness. Bingo, bingo, bingo. This spirit goeth always with lying at the right hand of Satan, that with cruelty and lying his works may be wrought. Understand ye therefore the power of wrath, that it is vain. For it first of all giveth provocation by word, then by deeds it strengtheneth him who is angry, and with sharp losses disturbeth his mind, and so stirreth up with great wrath his soul. Therefore when any one speaketh against you, be not ye moved to anger. And if any man praiseth you as holy men, be not uplifted. Be not moved either to delight or to disgust. For first it pleases the hearing, and so maketh the mind keen to perceive the grounds for provocation. And then being enraged, he thinketh that he is justly angry. If you fall into any loss or ruin, my children, be not afflicted. For this very spirit maketh the man desire that which is perishable, in order that he may be enraged through the affliction. And if you suffer loss voluntarily or involuntarily, be not vexed. For from vexation ariseth wrath with lying. Moreover, a twofold mischief is wrath with lying, and they assist one another in order to disturb the heart. And when the soul is continually disturbed, the Lord Yahweh departeth from it, and Beliar ruleth over it. Chapter 2. Observe therefore, my children, the commandments of Yahweh. There you go, he tells you. What was he talking about the whole first chapter? And keep his law, depart from wrath and hate lying, that Yahweh may dwell among you, and Beliar may flee from you. Speak truth, each one to his neighbor. And that goes into what's found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. If I can find it. Yep, you'll notice in the Dead Sea Scrolls that the sons of Zadok, the temple priest, that were in the wilderness, i.e. John the Baptist, kept the Dead Sea Scrolls. They shall rebuke one another in truth, humility, and charity. Let no man address his companion with anger or ill temper or adoracy, or with envy prompted by the spirit of wickedness. Look at that. Let him not hate him because of his uncircumcised heart, but let him rebuke him on the very same day, lest he incur guilt because of him. So, right in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and there's a scroll right there, is that. And it lines up with Dan. Speak truth, each one to his neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself. And the Messiah taught it, Matthew 22:39, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Where's that at? Leviticus 19:17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart, thou shalt anywise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Don't hate your brother, equals, thou shalt rebuke your neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. 4 witnesses, the Torah, the law, the Messiah, taught from the law, Sons of Zadok, taught what the Messiah taught. Dan taught it way before the Dead Sea Scrolls. So you think they didn't have the law or the commandments? I mean, they didn't. Dan was dead before they entered the Promised Land in 1500 BC. You know, so they had the law way before that. Speak truth, each one with his neighbor. So shall you not fall into wrath and confusion, but you shall be in peace, having the God of peace, the Elohim of peace. So shall no war prevail over you. Love Yahweh through all your life, and one another with a true heart. I know that in the last days, where are we at now? I guess we can establish that. The apostles talked about it. I mean, you can't, most have a hard time even accepting the New Testament, but anyways, I won't get into that. 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. This is Paul talking. 2 Timothy chapter 3, I think it's Paul. Timothy, yeah. Let me check that. Make sure. Yeah. Written by Paul. All right. Let's see. I don't claim to know everything. 2 Timothy chapter 3. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Last days, we're right there. I mean, you just take that with you wherever you go and just check off at the boxes as you go down the street. Check, 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 check. All right. I know that in the last days shall you depart from Yahweh, and you shall provoke Levi into anger and fight against Judah, but you shall not prevail against them. Levi and Judah is his brothers. For an angel of Yahweh shall guide them both, for by them shall Israel stand. Also the Messiah came from the tribe of Levi and Judah. And whensoever you depart from Yahweh, you shall walk in all evil, and work the abominations of the Gentiles, going a-whoring after women of the lawless ones, while with all wickedness, lawlessness, iniquity, unrighteousness, anomia, the spirits of wickedness work in you. For I have read in the book of Enoch, Dan had the book of Enoch, the righteous, that your prince is Satan, and that all the spirits, the book of Enoch the righteous, and he's talking about his descendants, that your prince is Satan, and that all the spirits of wickedness and pride will conspire to attend constantly on the sons of Levi to cause them to sin before Yahweh. And my sons will draw near to Levi and sin with them in all things, and the sons of Judah will be covetous, plundering other men's goods like lions. Therefore shall ye be led away with them into captivity. So he was talking about the last days, and even Messiah said when he came it was the last days. So, but this is when the nation of Israel was sent into the Gentiles. See, it calls them sin. Go into captivity. There shall ye receive all the plagues of Egypt and all the evils of the Gentiles. And so when you return to Yahweh, you shall obtain mercy, and he shall bring you into his sanctuary, and he shall give you peace. And there shall rise unto you from the tribe of Judah and Levi the salvation of Yahweh, and he shall make war against Beliar. That's the Messiah. And execute an everlasting vengeance on our enemies. In the captivity shall he take from Beliar the souls of the saints, and turn disobedient hearts unto Yahweh, and give to them that call upon him eternal peace. Let's see, Luke 1:17, he shall go before him in the spirit and the power of Elijah. Again, this is the New Testament, so it's translated differently. It should say Elijah or Elijah. To turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for Yahweh. Malachi 4:6. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. And execute everlasting vengeance on our enemies. In the captivity shall he take from Beliar the souls of the saints, and turn disobedient hearts unto Yahweh, and give to them that call upon him eternal peace. And the saints shall rest in Eden, and in New Jerusalem shall the righteous rejoice, and it shall be unto the glory of Yahweh forever. The saints shall rest in Eden. Oh, thought we were getting raptured. No, wrong. New Jerusalem. If this is new news to you. Revelation 21:2, and I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Who's the bride? Israel. Who's the husband? Messiah. And the saints shall find rest in Eden. Very interesting. Garden of Eden opened back up. And that also lines up with Tree of Life. It does. Revelation 22:14, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life. Where's the tree of life at? Garden of Eden. And may enter in through the gates into the city. So New Jerusalem coming down, the saints resting, having right to the tree of life, and New Jerusalem, the righteous rejoice. Just saying. Yep. Revelation 22:2, in the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And no longer shall Jerusalem endure desolation, nor Israel be led captive, for the Yahweh shall be in the midst of it. living amongst them, and the Holy One of Israel shall reign over it in humility and in poverty, and he who believeth on him shall reign amongst men in truth. And now fear Yahweh, my children, and beware of Satan and his spirits. Where do you hear about his spirits? That's also in Spirits of Wickedness. This book was also in the Bible, but it was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. But they got rid of it. Tells you a lot of extra information. Jubilees chapter 10, in this third week of this Jubilee, the unclean demons began to lead astray the children of the sons of Noah to make them err and destroy them. See? The unclean spirits. And we did according to all his words, all the malignant evil ones we bound in the place of condemnation, and a tenth of them we left, that they might be subject before Satan on the earth. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can't really see it. So 10. Or 9. Yeah, 11. There we go. Yep. Taught them medicine because people would not strive in righteousness. They needed medicine. Where are we at now? Unclean demons. But yeah, good check into that. Satan and his spirits. That's Jubilees chapter 10 if you want to read it. And toward desolation. Yeah, desolation. Desolation, Judea. Desolation spoken by Daniel. Yeah, he talks about this too. Matthew 24:15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, who said, readeth, let him understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee into the mountains. It's the kickoff event. No longer shall Jerusalem endure desolation. So that's after. Draw near unto Yahweh and unto the angel that intercedeth for you, for he is a mediator between Yahweh and man. And for the peace of Israel he shall stand up against the kingdom of the enemy. So I can't remember where I read that at. Angels intercede. I think it was Enoch. That was also in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They took everything out that gives you all the details so you know what's going on. I think, is that it? Enoch 46. Sacred text. Book of Enoch, sacred text. And let me see if I can find that right here, right quick. Searches help a lot. If I took notes, I guess it'd take me hours to go through them. Angels intercede. I'm sure it's in the Bible somewhere else too. Come on now, load up. Burning fire, path of angels. The angels. Um. If I can find it on here. Maybe I can. Book of Enoch. Index. So all the fallen angels. Women bearing giants. All earth destroyed. This deluge. No request granted. Oh, here we go. Chapter 12. I found it. See. Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers, fallen angels of heaven, who have left their high heaven, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and you have taken unto themselves wives. You have wrought great destruction on the earth, and you shall have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. And inasmuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murder of their beloved ones shall they see, and over the destruction of their children shall they lament, and shall make supplication unto eternity. But mercy and peace shall ye not attain. Broken ribs. And Enoch went and said, Azazel, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds. See, thou shalt have not have toleration nor request granted to thee, because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them, and they besought me to draw up a petition for them, that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of Yahweh of heaven. For from thenceforth they could not speak with him, nor lift up their eyes to heaven for shame of their sins, for which they had been condemned. Then I wrote their petition and the prayer in regard to their spirits and their deeds individually, in regard to the request that they should have forgiveness and length of days. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan. Interesting. In the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. I read their petition until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me, and I saw visions of chastisement, and a voice came bidding me to tell it to the sons of heaven and reprimand them. And when I awaked, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in Abel's, which is between Lebanon and Sennacer, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep, and I began to speak words of righteousness and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. And the book of the words of righteousness and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers, in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I now say with the tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given me to men to converse therewith and understand with heart. And he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom. So hath he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. I read out your petition in my vision. It appeared thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you. And from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity, and in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world, and that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and you shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by the sword. That's the giants. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus: behold, in the vision clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me, and the course of the stars and the lightning sped and hastened me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upward and bore me into heaven. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire, and it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to a large house which was built of crystals. Where's it at? Second house. What? Here we go. All right, found it. Next chapter, 16. Didn't know I was going to read all that. And he answered and said to me, I heard his voice, Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice, and go say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them, you should intercede for men, and not men for you. They said, draw near unto Yahweh and the angel that intercedeth for you. For he is a mediator between Yahweh and man, and for the peace of Israel he shall stand up against the kingdom of the enemy. Therefore is the enemy eager to destroy all that call upon Yahweh. For he knoweth that upon the day in which Israel shall repent, the kingdom of the enemy shall be brought to an end. That's also in, where's that at? Deuteronomy 30. I think that's all it is. Regather. Yeah. Yep. Deuteronomy 30. Deuteronomy 30. It shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations. So Israel's in all the nations. Whither Yahweh thy Elohim hath driven thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart and with all thine soul, that then Yahweh thy Elohim will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither Yahweh thy Elohim hath scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out into the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And Yahweh thy Elohim will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy Elohim will circumcise thy heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And he will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee and which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. Yep. For the very angel of peace shall strengthen Israel, that it fall not into the extremity of evil. And it shall be in the time of the lawlessness of Israel, that Yahweh will not depart from them, but will transform them into a nation that doeth his will. For none of the angels will be equal unto him. And also he's going to put, let's see. Where's that at? It's in there. Yeah, it might be in the same thing. Not sure. It's in there somewhere. Transform them into a nation that does his will. His name shall be in every place in Israel and among the Gentiles. Keep therefore yourselves, my children, from every evil work, and cast away wrath and all lying, and love truth and long suffering. And the things which you have heard from your father do you also impart to your children, that the Savior of the Gentiles may receive you. For he is true and long suffering, meek and lowly, and teacheth by his works the law of Yahweh. Depart therefore from all unrighteousness, and cleave unto the righteousness of Yahweh, and your race will be saved forever. And he tells you that in, where's that at? Psalm 119, 142, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Cleave unto righteousness. And bury me near my fathers. And when he had said these things, he kissed him and fell asleep at a good old age, and his sons buried him. And after that they carried up his bones and placed them near Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Nevertheless Dan prophesied unto them that they should forget their God, and should be alienated from the land of their inheritance, and from the race of Israel, and from the family of their seed. Testament of Naptali, eighth son of Jacob and Bilhah. The copy of the Testament of Naptali, which he ordained at the time of his death, in the 130th year of his life, when his sons were gathered together in the 7th month, on the first day of the month, while still in good health, he made them a feast of food and wine. And the first day of the 7th month is a special day. Yeah. It's in Jubilees, I think. Yep. Broken ribs. And after he was awake in the morning, he said to them, I am dying, and they believed him not. And as he glorified Yahweh, he grew strong, and said that after yesterday's feast he should die. And he began to say, Hear, my children, you sons of Naphtali, hear the words of your father. I was born from Bilhah, because Rachel dealt craftily, and gave Bilhah in place of herself to Jacob, and she conceived and bare me upon Rachel's knees. Therefore she called my name Naphtali. For Rachel loved me very much, because I was born upon her lap, and when I was still young she was wont to kiss me, and say, May I have a brother of thine from mine own womb like unto thee. Whence also Joseph was like unto me in all things, according to the prayers of Rachel. Now my mother was Bilhah, daughter of Rothius, the brother of Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, who was born on one and the selfsame day with Rachel. And Rothius was of the family of Abraham, a Chaldean, God-fearing, freeborn, and noble. And he was taken captive and brought by Laban, and he gave him Una, his handmaid, to wife, and she bore a daughter, and called her name Zilpah, after the name of the village in which he had been taken captive. And next she bore Bilhah, saying, My daughter hastens after what is new, for immediately that she was born she seized the breast, and hastened to suck it. And I was swift on my feet like the deer, and my father Jacob appointed me for all messages, and as a deer did he give me his blessing. For as the potter knoweth the vessel, how much it is to contain, and bringeth clay accordingly, so also doth Yahweh make the body after the likeness of the spirit, and according to the capacity of the body doth he implant the spirit. And the one does not fall short of the other by a third part of a hair, for by weight and measure and rule was all the creation made. And as the potter knoweth the use of each vessel, what it is meet for, so also doth Yahweh know the body, how far it will persist in goodness, and when it beginneth in evil. For there is no inclination or thought which Yahweh knoweth not, for he created every man after his own image. For as a man's strength, so also is his work in his work. As his eye, so also in his sleep. As his soul, so also in his word, either in the law of Yahweh or in the law of Beliar. And that's very interesting. Law of Yahweh, law of sin and death. Paul know what he's talking about. I'm sure he had these removed books. And a lot of people trip over this, thinking Paul's lawless. Absolutely not. Romans 8:2, for the law of the Spirit of life in Messiah, he came to teach from his Father, hath made me free from the law of sin and death. So if Paul read the book, he knows what he's talking about. Either in the law of Yahweh, of life, or in the law of Beliar, sin and death. He even tells you in the commandments there, choose life. Commandments. And it tells you, if you read them, it says this is life. Deuteronomy 30:19, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Obey. Keep the commandments. Keep the commandments. Life. Or law and sin, of sin and death. Most people are like, Paul said we don't have to keep the law. It's sin and death. So we're going to keep the law of sin and death. So that's what they're doing. And as there is a division between light and darkness, between seeing and hearing, so also is there a division between man and man, and between woman and woman. And it is not to be said that the one is like the other, either in face or in mind. For Yahweh made all things good in their order, the five senses in the head, and he joined on the neck to the head, adding to it the hair, also for comeliness and glory, then the heart for understanding, the belly for excrement, and the stomach for grinding, the windpipe for taking in the breath, the liver for wrath, the gall for bitterness, the spleen for laughter, the reins for prudence, the muscles of the loins for power, the lungs for drawing in, the loins for strength, and so forth. So then, my children, let all your works be done in order with good intent in the fear of Yahweh, and do nothing disorderly in scorn or out of its due season. And what's the fear of Yahweh? We let scriptures define. We don't go by what man says. Man's delusional most of the time. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Equals fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. How do you fear him? Keep his commandments. Oh, that there were a heart in them, that they would fear me always. Heart in them, fear. Deuteronomy 5:29. Oh, that there were such a heart in them, that they would fear me. Who's him? Moses? Supposed to fear Moses? No. Him. And keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. Fear God. Do nothing disorderly or out of its due season. And we talk about that in the New Testament too. In the seasons. Everything has a season, I think. Let's see where that's at. Season. That's in, where's that at? Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there's a season and a time, to every purpose under the heaven. For if thou bid the eye to hear, it cannot, so neither while you are in darkness can you do the works of light. What's the works of light? Do the law and testimony. Law is light. What's the works of light? What's he talking about? Proverbs 6:23, for the commandment is a lamp, the law is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life. Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light in them. Be ye therefore not eager to corrupt your doings through covetousness, or with vain words to beguile your souls, because if you keep silence and purity of heart, you shall understand how to hold fast the will of Yahweh, and to cast away the will of Beliar. Sun and moon and stars change not their order, so do you also change not the law of Yahweh in the disorderliness of your doings. The Gentiles went astray and forsook Yahweh, and changed their order, and obeyed stocks and stones, spirits of deceit. You can read more about that in Jubilees. But you shall not be so, my children. That's the sons of Noah. You shall not be so, my children, recognizing in the firmament and in the earth and in the sea and all things created, Yahweh who made all things, that you become not as Sodom, which changed the order of nature. In like manner, the watchers also changed the order of their nature, whom Yahweh cursed at the flood, on whose account he made the earth without inhabitants and fruitless. So, that's a big red flag. Sodom and the flood. As in the days of Noah. Matthew 24:37, as in the days of Noah were, so also shall be the coming of the Son of Man. Sodom for an example. Jude 1:7, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. These things I say unto you, my children, for I have read in the writing of Enoch that you yourselves also shall depart from Yahweh, walking according to all the lawlessness of the Gentiles. You shall do according to all the wickedness of Sodom. And Yahweh shall bring captivity upon you, and there shall you serve your enemies, and you shall be bowed down with every affliction and tribulation until Yahweh have consumed you all. And after you have become diminished and made few, you return and acknowledge Yahweh your Elohim, and he shall bring you back into your land according to his abundant mercy. And it shall be that after they come into the land of their fathers, they shall again forget Yahweh and become ungodly. And Yahweh shall scatter them upon the face of all the earth until the compassion of Yahweh shall come, a man working righteousness and working mercy unto all them that are far off and to them that are near. Far off and near. The Ephesians. Ecclesiastes. No. Yeah, Ephesians. Say Ephesians 2:13. But now in Messiah Yahusha, all they had to do was change a word. You sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Messiah. He tells you in 2:12. Say you were without Messiah, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without Yahweh in the world. So if you're in Messiah, you're not an alien to the commonwealth of Israel. You're Israel. You're not strangers to the covenants of promise. You keep the commandments. You have hope, not no hope, and you have Yahweh. See? You're made nigh. Where's it at? Yeah, it's in there. I think it's in Deuteronomy. Yeah, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 32, yeah. Yep, see. Deuteronomy 30:11. For this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. And also, far off, Gentiles, the northern kingdom spread into the Gentiles. Those that are near, it was preached the gospel. Judah was still in the land of Israel, the southern kingdom. He makes a plea, chapter 2. For in the 40th year of my life I saw a vision on the Mount of Olives on the east of Jerusalem, that the sun and the moon were standing still. And behold, Isaac, the father of my fathers, said to us, Run and lay hold of them, each one according to his strength, and laid to him. And to him seizeth them will the sun and the moon belong. I have some crazy dream here, because I don't know about that. And we, all of us, ran together, and Levi laid hold of the sun, and Judah outstripped the others and seized the moon. Yeah, probably a dream. And they were both of them lifted up with them. And when Levi became as a son, lo, a certain young man gave to him 12 branches of palm. And Judah was bright as the moon, and under their feet were 12 rays. And the two, Levi and Judah, ran and laid hold of them. And lo, a bull upon the earth with 2 great horns, and an eagle's wings upon its back, and we wished to seize him, but could not. Huh. That sounds like the end times beasts, or the kingdoms. 2 great horns, eagle's wings, second Esdras, bull. I don't think there's a bull. But Joseph came and seized him and ascended up with him on high. And I saw, for I was there, and behold, a holy writing appeared to us, saying, Assyrians, Medes, Persians, Chaldeans, Syrians shall possess in captivity the 12 tribes of Israel. And again after 7 days I saw our father Jacob standing by the sea of Jamnia, and we were with him, and behold, there came a ship sailing by without sailors or pilot, and there was written upon the ship of Jacob. And our father said to us, Come, let us embark on our ship. And when he had gone on board, there arose a vehement storm and a mighty tempest of wind, and our father, who was holding the helm, departed from us. And we, being tossed with the tempest, were borne along over the sea, and the ship was filled with water, and was pounded by mighty waves until it was broken up. And Joseph fled away upon a little boat, and we were all divided upon 9 planks, and Levi and Judah were together. And we were all scattered into the ends of the earth. Then Levi, girt about with sackcloth, prayed for us all unto Yahweh. And when the storm ceased, the ship reached the land as it were in peace. And lo, our father came, and we all rejoiced with one accord. These 2 dreams I told my father, and he said unto me, These things must be fulfilled in their season, after that Israel hath endured many things. Then my father saith unto me, I believe Yahweh that Joseph liveth, for I see always that Yahweh numbereth him with you. And he said, weeping, Ah me, my son Joseph, thou livest, thou I behold thee not, and thou seest not Jacob that begat thee. He caused me also therefore to weep by these words, and I burned in my heart to declare that Joseph had been sold, but I feared my brethren. And lo, my children, I have shown unto you the last times how everything shall come to pass in Israel. Do you also therefore charge your children that they be united to Levi and to Judah, for through them shall salvation arise unto Israel, and in them shall Jacob be blessed. The Messiah came through Levi and Judah. Matthew chapter 1 shows you the lineage from Judah to Messiah, and his mother had the Levi. For through their tribes shall Yahweh appear, dwelling among men on the earth, to save the race of Israel, and to gather together the righteous from among the Gentiles. If you work that which is good, my children, both men and angels shall bless you, and Yahweh shall be glorified among the Gentiles through you. And the devil shall flee from you, and the wild beast shall fear you, and Yahweh shall love you, and the angels shall cleave to you. As a man who has trained a child well is kept in kindly remembrance, so also for a good work there is a good remembrance before Yahweh. But him that doeth not that which is good, both angels and men shall curse, and Yahweh shall be dishonored among the Gentiles through him, and the devil shall make him as his own peculiar instrument, and every wild beast shall master him, and Yahweh shall hate him. For the commandments of the law are twofold, and through prudence must they be fulfilled. For there is a season for a man to embrace his wife, and a season to abstain therefrom for his prayer. So then there are 2 commandments, and unless they be done in due order, they bring very great sin upon men. So also is it with the other commandments. Be ye therefore wise in Yahweh, my children, and prudent, understanding the order of his commandments and the laws of every word, that Yahweh may love you. And when he had charged them with many such words, he exhorted them that they should remove his bones to Hebron, and that they should bury him with his fathers. And when he had eaten and drunken with a merry heart, he covered his face and died. And his sons did according to all that Naptali their father had commanded them. And it's very interesting. He says 2 commandments. And Messiah says here 2 commandments. And let's see, where's that? Yep. Verse 37, Yahushua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind, the first and great commandment. Second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Not on these 2 commandments do away with all the law and the prophets. No, hang. These are the greatest. Deuteronomy 6:5. Deuteronomy. I showed you the other one earlier, but I'll show you the first one. he quotes the Torah, Deuteronomy 6:5. If he did away with the law, why would he quote the law? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might. If he did away with it, he would not quote it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But people don't get it. They don't listen. Naptali. $407. I might cut it right there. I don't think I have time to yeah. I don't think I have time to finish or do another one. Next one is Gad. My children are about to be home, so I'll be yeah. Alright, I'll just stop it there and start at Gad next time. Hopefully that was a blessing to someone, and study for yourself.